Hey guys, what's going on? Basin here, and welcome to another video here on the channel. And today we are going to be talking about one of the most interesting games of the year, in my opinion, in Deathloop. And I know this game's been out for about a week. I tried to get my review done early, but I was just having way too much fun with this game in particular, and I just got lost in it. I really wanted to beat it to give you the full extent of what this game has to offer, and just seeing if like the ending added anything or took away from anything. And we'll get to that near the end, and I'm not gonna spoil anything. This is a non-spoilery review of Deathloop. Great game. I absolutely loved it, but we'll get into that in a second. Just make sure, if you're enjoying the content here, make sure you click subscribe and hit that like button. It really helps us out here on the channel. And also leave a comment. What games you might want to see in the future? I'm excited to read and see these different comments about what games that you would like me to review. And I'll probably get to them someday. So let us get started on our review of Deathloop. So I started playing Deathloop the day it came out, the minute it came out, because I was up talking with friends and everything like that, and I was like, oh, Deathloop just came out, let me boot it up and let me see what it's about. I listened to the Kind of Funny folks talk about it over on Gamescast. If you don't know their channel, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, that they talked a little bit about their Deathloop review and why they loved it so much. It was Blessing, Greg Miller, and a few of their friends over there talking about Deathloop, and Jenna Garcia, and I can't think of the last person's name, but all of them were talking about it. And I absolutely was like, I listened to it and I was kind of not sold on Deathloop, to be honest. I was just kind of like, this game has gotten a lot of trailer coverage. I love Arcane games. I haven't played Prey, but Arcane, I love Dishonored, I loved all that sort of stuff, and I was excited to see what they were going to do with Deathloop and this concept of a time loop. And recently we've gotten a lot of roguelikes, like with Returnal and Hades. I mean, Hades is a roguelite, but it's not like a time loop thing, but like it's just this thing over and over and over again. And so I was wondering what Deathloop was going to bring to the table that those games didn't, and they brought something that I was not expecting. So a general basic overview, no spoilers. You can get these from the trailers and everything like that. You're a man by the name of Colt, and there's this girl, Juliana. Colt's job is to break the loop that is happening on the island, and Juliana's job is to protect the loop on the island. That's just basically the premise of the game. And there's these visionaries that you have to go and kill. Some of them have special abilities, like you'll see me using some of them above, and some of them don't. Sometimes they just have really good weapons, which is really, really cool. So you'll see that in the gameplay above, and like how the game kind of works and everything like that. This was an earlier run in my playthrough, so there's gonna be some mistakes, there's gonna be some interesting things, but just general what this is what it would look like about like 2-3 hours into the game, as you're figuring stuff out through, and how to basically work your way through and break the loop as Colt. So one thing I want to say off the bat is that I don't really like, well, I don't want to say I don't really like, because there's some of my favorite games are roguelites, but normally roguelites don't grab my attention. They don't hit me in the way that they do with some people. Like as if you go back and look at my review of Hades and how I talked about how Hades like just re-released on Game Pass and stuff like that, I definitely think it's worth checking out if you have Game Pass, or if you really just like roguelites in general, because I think that Hades is a great roguelite, and it has really good things to it, but it just wasn't my cup of tea. Like it just wasn't. I love Greek mythology, I love Norse mythology, I love all these sorts of mythology, and it was nice to see these characters and these unique takes on them that happened in the game, but it just kind of fell flat for me. Deathloop, however, has a very interesting gameplay loop, and so the idea, and I think they did a really, really, really good job conveying this, is that you go around the island at 4 different times during the day. and you have your weapons. You can infuse your weapons with residuum, which allow the weapons to carry over from loop to loop, which is really, really cool. And like all these abilities and stuff like that as well. And you are trying to basically kill all 8 visionaries in one day. And the only way that you're going to be able to do that is if you live through each of the loop, or start living through each of the loops and figuring out, oh, this missionary is going to be here at this time, this missionary is going to be here at this time, and you just got to figure out how you're going to take down all of them at once. So you need to like approximately have 2 per time of day, and sometimes it's only 1, sometimes it's more than 1, more than 2. You'll find out when you play it, and it's very, very exciting. But the object is to kill all 8 of them in one day, and then boom, game's done. And that's the one thing that I'm going to harp on at the end of this review when I talk about like the story and stuff like that, is how abruptly the story ended and how I didn't really like that, but that's beside the point. But right now I want to talk on the biggest thing of the game, which is the gameplay. I loved it. I loved the weapons. I loved how I don't even want to say the game was difficult, because it's not difficult. It's not easy, but it's also not like hard. Like if you're gonna go in guns blazing, like you can as well, and you'll see this probably a little bit in here when I get found out, and you'll see me just go guns blazing. It's a lot harder to do it that way than stealthily, which is how I tried to run it. I tried to run stealthily as I can, and then if I get found out, kill all the enemies that found me out, and then hop back into the shadows and try to finish it out in stealth. So that's kind of normally how I run things in my games. So it's really, really hard because the enemies, you don't have much health. Colt doesn't have much health. You get hit like 2-3 times, there's a good chance that your next shot's going to be your death. And so that's just kind of how it works. Also, Colt has a thing that allows him to revive himself 3 times in a loop, or 3 times. I've never died more than 3 times in a day. So if I died once or twice in one time, I didn't die the rest of the day. Like it was normally how that kind of works. Just because like I was in the right mindset, I guess. I don't know. But if you die 3 times, you're kicked back out, the loop resets over it again, you start from the morning, which is fine. It's how the game works. I think the biggest thing is concocting that run, like the run that will let you beat the game. That is literally the funnest part about this game, is as you're playing it, you're like, okay, I know morning I want to go here, during the afternoon I want to go here, during the evening I want to go here, and during night I want to go here. And you kind of figure that out, and you go, okay, so you might run your morning, run the morning one, and you might have a bad run of the morning one. You might die twice, you might die 3 times, and you have to reset. Or you kill the visionary, but you find out information, you're like, okay, I can do this better next time. And then you go to the next one, and you figure out more and more information as it goes on. But the adrenaline, the pure adrenaline you get from that final run in this game, oof. It is amazing. I absolutely enjoyed it. I thought that was the best way that this game could have ended. It led to that moment of where you're doing all these things, you figure out all this information, you figure out, okay, this person's going to be here, this person's going to be here. Okay. I have all these abilities, I can run around, I can be in stealth and tag people with my Nexus ability. Boom, one shot, boom, they're all dead. Like, and you have that figured out in your head, and it's like, it's super, super cool. It's really, really cool. And then we get to the part of the game that I was lacking for me. Like, the story was there. I mean, you figure out more about Colt and Juliana, but like, that's about it. And you figure out a little bit about the visionaries, but I think the real story is the story of the island, like the way that the island is made and why it's so important that this island lives, or from Juliana's point of view, and stuff like that. And I think that's where the main story is in this game, which is disappointing, honestly. Like, that's the one thing that's like holding me back from giving it a 10 out of 10. I think the lack of a story really hinders this game from getting a really high, like tip-top high score from me, because I think that if you're going to get above a 9.5, you need to mesh gameplay and story and soundtrack and like it needs to be like this idea of everything just kind of comes together and makes a really good game. And in my head, I can't give it that pure 9.5 plus in my eyes. And I know that there's a lot of differing opinions on this game, and I think that that in my eyes, if I had to give it a rating, it would actually be sitting about a 9. It's and you might be like, oh, 9, wow, but you know, there's a lot of games that sit around in that 9 category that people consider good, and I think that this game, if it had a better story, if it had a better like feel through story throughout, like, and you got to know Colt and Juliana a lot better, I think that would bump this game up to 9.5, 10 for me. I just feel like that's where it was lacking. So if you're in it for the story, there's a decent story there for you to help like figure it out and everything. But honestly, the reason why you want to play this game is because the game Arcane has solidified that gameplay loop, and it makes the last run you do of that game so satisfying, and I absolutely love it so much. I definitely suggest that if you're going to pick up this game, you pick it up on either Steam or PS5. I mean, that's the only place you can get them right now. I also want to say that I did play on PS5, and I like playing shooters preferably on my PC most of the time, but recently I've been switching back over to console a lot. I don't know why. It just so happens that I'm feeling more comfortable on consoles. So, and I felt like the console was fine. Using controller was fine. So that's about it in terms of the Deathloop review. You know what that means. It is time for you to click subscribe and click that like button and leave a comment. Tell me what games or what you thought about Deathloop and everything like that. And it is time for us to reveal what is our game for next week, so that you can hop on in and play them and kind of get your thoughts as well as mine. The game we will be playing next week is a big one, and I am so excited for it. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else. I think that I'm excited to get into this game, and a lot of you are going to be like, oh, why are we doing this game now? Like, you probably played this way back when it first came out. I have never beaten Breath of the Wild. I have my qualms with the game, just playing it for the few minutes that I have. But I think more importantly for me, I have to get past the way that the game is and the weapons and stuff like that, because I feel like there's a game underneath of all that I'm excited to see if I can get to, and if I can really dig into it. So I'm praying that that I don't come back here in a week and I post it on Wednesday and it's just Breath of the Wild was just how I thought it was. It just isn't my cup of tea, and all that sort of stuff. So I'm excited to get into that next week. Yeah, so once again, thank you all for watching today. Click that like button for me, please, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. All right, everybody, I hope you have a fantastic week, and don't forget, you need to tell somebody you love them for me, okay? I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.